Welcome to our Social Enterprise Fundamentals video series. This is the second of two videos in the topic of social enterprise business model elements. In the first video on this topic of social enterprise business model elements, we introduced the idea of a business model and some tools to help with business model development and analysis. As a reminder, a social enterprise business model describes the different components of the social enterprise machine and how they work together to generate economic and social value. Writing a business plan comes after the business model is developed, as it covers how the machine is built and run, as you first need to know what you want to build. A social enterprise business model's overarching goal is to create sustainable social impact or value, so it has a different design to a commercial business model which aims to generate and capture economic value as profit. An economic value proposition is an important part of a social enterprise's business model because the revenue generated is like the fuel for the social enterprise machine to then create social impact. We have already discussed the analysis and thinking required to identify and articulate a social enterprise's economic value proposition, and how this relates to the social enterprise business model. Now we have reviewed the key ideas from the previous video, we are now going to apply the same kind of thinking to explore the activities that a social enterprise will need to undertake to deliver its social purpose. This will then help us to circle back to the social enterprise business model and connect it to the beneficiaries. Here is a social value proposition canvas, which you can find in your workbook. We start with the beneficiaries. First, you are asked to describe the problem that the beneficiary group is currently facing. As an example, let's say that it is access to stable employment for young men exiting the justice system. Next, we consider what is standing in the way of the beneficiary group. What is exacerbating the problem they face? So, for our example, it may be that they need training in skills that will make them employable. Another barrier might be people's perceptions that these young men can't be trusted as employees because of their past. And then we look at what the beneficiary group stand to gain if this problem was addressed. In our example, they stand to gain economic inclusion, hope for the future, and a myriad of benefits that come with having employable skills and a job. Now, let's turn our mind to the social enterprise's proposed solution, the way it plans to create social value by addressing this problem. Firstly, we describe how the social enterprise addresses the problem that the beneficiary group faces. In our example, and building on the example in our last video, let's say that the social enterprise plans to provide employment and support for the beneficiary cohort by running a fencing company. Now, let's look at the beneficiaries' pain points and gain creators. The pain points that were identified are around a lack of skills and training that enables them to access and hold down employment, as well as a lack of trust in the beneficiaries. So, it is important that the activity of the social enterprise addresses these barriers, perhaps through offering on-the-job training and skill building as part of its operations. This means not expecting that beneficiary employees will come to the job with the skills they need to do it, so they will also need to provide training and supervision to ensure that the job is done well, and to support the beneficiaries to adjust to the world of work, which is also likely to address the second pain point around becoming trusted employees. And finally, the gain creators. The activity of the social enterprise's solution and approach presents an opportunity to contribute towards bigger picture benefits for the beneficiaries. These can be captured here and used to inform the development of partnerships and to advocate for the beneficiaries and the work of the social enterprise. In our example, there is an opportunity to grow the confidence and leadership capabilities of participants, as well as their own financial independence and economic participation. These aspects relate back to the big picture goals in the social enterprise's theory of change. So, now we can see the fit, as well as any tensions or inconsistencies between the beneficiary's needs and the activity that the social enterprise proposes to create social value. We can then use this information to further develop the business model. For example, if we look at the social enterprise business model canvas, in addition to the elements already in the canvas from our last video, we now can add information about the beneficiaries and how the social enterprise will connect with them to deliver the social purpose. We can then look to the left of the canvas, the area that relates to costs or expenses, to describe the key activities involved in delivering social value, such as support, supervision, and training, as well as those that relate to the delivery of the economic value proposition, such as promotion and marketing of the company to customers, design services, filing for council permits and construction. All of these activities require people, skills, assets, and equipment, so you should also list these alongside the activities. By combining what's needed to create social value and economic value, you can see that this involves more activities and more people, skills, and resources than a standard fencing business would. It's also important to identify what tasks or skills the enterprise itself may not need to have or acquire, but rather what can be accessed through partnerships. These are listed in the far left column. For example, it may be better to partner with a youth counselling organisation for the times that the beneficiaries need additional care and support than have a youth counsellor on the staff of the enterprise. So now we have a more complete picture of the social enterprise's business model and how the different components fit together to create economic value for the ultimate purpose of creating social value. In our example, we see that the social purpose is to create employment opportunities for young men exiting the justice system. Our beneficiaries are young ex-offenders who have few employable skills and are therefore finding it hard to find and retain a job. Our economic value proposition is that we will be a fencing company that provides a design, permit, and construction solution for our customers, who are property owners that find the local council's permit process complex and time-consuming, and who want a well-designed fence built as quickly as possible with the site left clean and tidy afterwards. We will reach our customers through flyers, radio, and internet ads, and we will reach our beneficiaries through partnerships with social workers connected to the youth justice system. To achieve all this, we know we need skills and capabilities in fencing design, permit applications, and fence construction. To do this, we need people with these skills, but we also need construction tools, design software, and perhaps some clever IP that makes applying for permits in different councils quick and simple. We also need skills and capabilities to support and supervise the beneficiary employees, and someone who can manage relationships with social workers and the youth justice system. And we also need our partners, counsellors, funders, and providers of social finance, the social enterprise network, and intermediary organisations, etc. You will notice we now have two areas remaining on our social enterprise business model: our estimates of revenue and our estimates of costs. The good news is we now have the broad information needed to make these estimates, which we will discuss in our next video in this series, as we start to think about how to make an initial assessment of the possible feasibility of a social enterprise idea. But for now, let's recap. A social enterprise business model describes the different components of the social enterprise machine and how they work together to generate economic and social value. A social enterprise business model's overarching goal is to create sustainable social impact or value, so it has a different design to a commercial business model which aims to generate and capture economic value as profit. Looking at both the economic and the social value propositions, through the eyes of customers and beneficiaries can help us to understand what some of the key activities are that the social enterprise needs to perform to create economic and social value. We can then use this information to think about the skills, resources, assets and partnerships the social enterprise needs. Thanks for joining us. This video was produced by the Social Startup Studio, an initiative of the Centre for Social Impact at Swinburne University of Technology.